welcome to another edition of Access Central TV. I'm Andy Hersman, and we have a great guest today. You might have seen him. He's been in the media a lot. We have Greg Packer right here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andy.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're here.
Happy to be here too, Andy.
So, well, I know Greg from way back. We both went to school together at Huntington High School.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we weren't good friends back then, but we've seen each other in the hallways. And I kept track of what he's been doing on Facebook. And he leads a very, very interesting life, to say the least.
Yes, I do, Andrew.
Now, maybe you could explain to us what makes you, what's the word, famous?
Well, Andy, I'm famous just for always showing up the right place at the right time, many different things all over the country.
So anytime there's a big event, you're pretty much there. Is that the deal?
Yeah, that is the deal, Andy. Yes, you're correct.
So when did you start doing this? Is this after you were done working, or were you doing this while you were working?
I was doing this while I was working.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Using any time I had off to just show up someplace.
Wow. Now, was this something spur of the moment, or did you plan this? Or how did this come about?
Sometimes it would be spur of the moment for the most part, but you know, a lot of stuff, you know, I sit and plan out, you know, what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Okay. So what do? You look at all the events that are happening, and then you pick one? Is that how it works? Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So do you remember maybe the first event that you went to where you were interviewed?
It's been like so much, Andrew.
I could imagine.
You know, just
well, one of the major ones I know is the Apple Store. You were first online for that, right?
Yes.
So tell us that story, how that came about. Tell us all about it.
Well, I saw you know, at the time, you know, the iPhone was first coming out, so I figure, you know, let me get up to the Apple Store itself, because a lot of the malls, you know, they don't really let you camp out for like a very long time.
Oh, the malls don't, right.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, it would be a case of coming and going and going and coming.
Right.
And I learned that during the PS3 sale up at Roosevelt Field.
Oh, they wouldn't let you stay overnight, I guess.
Yeah, so it was like which entrance was going to open up first. It became a guessing game.
Okay.
So I kind of learned from that, you know, how the iPhone was going to be.
Okay.
And, you know, the best place, you know, to camp out at that time was the Apple Store, and still is the Apple Store.
So the main one in Manhattan you're talking about?
Yeah, main Apple Store, Fifth Avenue.
Okay.
So I decided to go up there. I think it was like a Monday or a Tuesday. And the Apple Store gave me like, you know, crazy looks like, is he nuts?
Well, wait, how many days before it actually went on sale did you show up?
The first iPhone went on sale on a Friday.
Okay.
So by the time you got up there, it was either Monday or Tuesday.
Wow.
It was early in the week.
Okay. So what did you bring with you then? You know, you must have brought some kind of supplies that last that long, right?
Yeah. You know, mainly, I think it was like a chair.
Okay.
You know, change of clothes.
Okay. Any food or anything? Water?
A little bit of food, you know. Always went to like the nearby Subway sandwich shop, and you know.
Well, what happens if you go to the store? Do you lose your spot, or how does that work?
If you go to the store, I mean, it's expected.
Okay. So what? You'll just leave your stuff there, and
yes,
it doesn't get stolen in Manhattan, huh?
No. People actually did watch it. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah. So that was a very big event. You know, the Apple iPhone, when it first came out, that was a big story in the news.
Yeah.
And so that's how you became, people, what happened? Reporters came up to you and interviewed you? Or?
Yeah, there's a lot of reporters from all over the world.
All over the world?
All over the world.
Wow, so not just the local stuff.
Some local stuff, some international stuff.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. So, okay, now did they interview before you got the phone, or after, or both, or how did that work?
It was mainly before I got the phone.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody wants to know what I'm doing there. Everybody wants to know how the phone is. Everybody wants to know, you know, why am I getting this phone? What do I need it for?
Okay. Okay. Cool. So then, after you actually bought the phone, you came out. I guess they took pictures of you then also. Is that?
Yes, that's correct.
So that was one of the big events that got you kind of famous in the industry, you know, in the media, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how many iPhone events have you been to?
I've been to almost everyone. I may have missed a couple.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because I wasn't one to like keep changing iPhones just because it was like the thing to have. But I've been to most of them.
Okay. So the new iPhone, what is the newest one's coming out? 6S or something? Are you going to be involved with that one, or?
I haven't decided yet,
Okay.
but you know, we'll see what happens.
All right. Fair enough. So besides that, you know, what other type of events do you go to? I know you go to sporting events, and you know, tell us a little bit about the other things you do.
You know, like sporting events, concerts, you know,
Okay.
Pope visits.
Well, that's coming up. Sure.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Now, you excited about that? Do you have, you know, tickets for that already, or?
I got let's just say I don't have MSG tickets yet.
Okay. Okay.
I don't have the ones for you know, Saturday and Sunday, you know, like the World Meeting of Family tickets yet.
Okay.
I got the ones for Independence Hall.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So you're going down there also?
I'm going down there. I'm going to Philadelphia.
Wow. So you get around.
Yes. I'm still getting around, Andrew.
So recently you were also in Chicago, right? I just saw on.
Yes, yes. I was in Chicago for the Grateful Dead. I was in Detroit for the Rolling Stones.
See, now this guy knows how to live life to the fullest. I mean, I don't think there's a dull moment in your life. You're probably like, you know, every moment you're somewhere where it's happening. Now, you know, a lot of people might look at you and say, "Oh, you know, how does he do this? How's it, you know, because it's almost like a job, you know. I mean, it takes a lot of energy to do all that stuff, doesn't it?"
Yes, it does.
But I don't know. I mean, do you do it because you enjoy it, or what motivates you?
You know, it's mainly a combination of enjoyment and just keeping yourself occupied too.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's you know, there's worse things you could do.
Yeah,
but
we both know that there's worse things.
Oh, absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, but I find it really interesting because you know, it seems like, you know, no matter what the big event is, you happen to be there. You know, and it's kind of nice because you know, like we said, you get to talk to the media a lot, and at one point I think the AP that found, you know, kind of figured out that you were getting so many different sound bites.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, what happened exactly with that?
Yeah, well, AP issued a memo saying, you know, the world. I'll give you a little bit of it off the top of my head, Andrew. The world is full of interesting people. One of them is Greg Packer. He's already been quoted so many times. We need to be eager to quote other people. You know, that's just a rough estimate.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know,
well,
what they put out.
You know, but it makes sense though. I mean, if you're at these events and the reporters are looking for someone to talk about it, I mean, why not you? I mean, you're there, right? So
I'm there.
That's the thing. So how
See, my thinking is, Andrew, I'm there, so deal with it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, what are the things they ask you? I mean, what do they want to know from you? Is it just generic questions, or is it specific, or?
You know, some things are generic, and some things it's like specific as to like having to do with whatever event is taking place at that time. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay, okay. So what's one of the biggest events you've been to?
I would have to say, you know, 2 Woodstocks.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 2 Woodstocks. You know, baseball parades.
Okay.
You know.
So you've been to all the Canyon of Heroes and all that when that happens?
Yes, we do. It's just at the Women's World Cup parade. What an experience that was.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's, you know, it's just amazing because you really, you know, you don't just let life go by. I mean, you experience it, you know, and it's nice to be in New York because so many things happen here, you know.
Well, we're in like the biggest city on the East Coast, Andrew. You know that already.
Sure.
And as a Long Islander, we're about an hour away by train.
Sure, sure.
So why not take advantage of everything around you?
I don't see why not, you know.
I don't see why not either.
And have you? What's the furthest you traveled to see an event? Like I know you went to Chicago. Is that
I've been to San Francisco.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All the way to West Coast.
all the way to West
Have
Coast.
you ever been out of the country, or you just?
I've been to Canada,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
just to see what that's like.
Right.
You know, and it's beautiful up there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you know, Mexico I worry about because you know it's
Okay.
a different world down there.
Oh yeah. Have you ever been there at all, or stepped foot in it just to try it out?
I was there once, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like I said, it's just interesting because you know the sound bites that you make or the quotes. You know, I mean, you got a mile long. You know, there's like if people look up something like an event, usually your quote is associated with it. You know, like if you look up in a newspaper or you watch an old video of an event that happened, you know, a news story. I mean, there you are, you know.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing because I don't know if people recognize you. Do you get that? Like when you're walking down the street and somebody goes, "Hey, you look familiar."
You know, I hear that all the time, man.
Do you?
So it's like I don't know if I'm really familiar to them or not familiar to them.
Okay. Well, if they recognize you, doesn't that give it kind of a credibility that they recognize you? You know,
Yeah, it gives some kind of credibility. That's true, but
Uh-huh.
you know, it depends where it's coming from.
Okay. What about politicians? Have you gotten involved with them as far as speaking with them?
You know, I've spoken with, ex-President Bush.
Wow.
I've seen Clinton plenty of times and Mrs. Clinton. You know,
Okay.
book signings,
Wow.
things like that.
So you
Yeah,
okay?
and Bush I met at the Army-Navy game in Philadelphia.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And well, I know there was a documentary made about you, about what was going on.
Yeah.
And I remember there was something in there about Ann Coulter. She knew who you were.
Oh, she knew I was quick, and you know, I shouldn't even comment about Ann Coulter, but she's nothing but a piece of work.
Well, we
You know,
all,
but
we all know
this
that.
is public access television,
Yeah,
so
well,
I'm not going to be.
Well, you
know,
can say
use
what you
some
want.
word-
That's okay. You know, we have free speech here, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, but it's interesting because if she knew who you were, you know, I mean, there's got to be a lot of people who understand that, you know, that you're one of these people that gets around, you know, and I mean, do you have any influence with your notoriety? I mean, do you? What am I trying to like? Can you go up to a politician and tell them what you think, or, you know, because you're so well known, or?
You know, I don't know if that comes into play, but it's like, you know, like we live in a day and age, Andrew. Every move is watched so closely, you know, through word of mouth
Right.
and by social media, electronic media,
Sure,
et
sure.
cetera. So it's like there's so many people just like, you know, twist it around and they only put out what they want to put out, not what you or I want it out there.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, that's why I like public access because, you know, it's not controlled by any corporation,
Yeah.
and we could say whatever we want. So, you know, it's nice to be able to you know, say things that the big media companies wouldn't want people to say, you know. Yeah. So, you know, that's it gives us that freedom, and there's not that many you know, opportunity to do that.
No.
Not anymore, but. You know, but what I like about you is, you know, you live life to the fullest. You know, you're out there, and you know, I mean, it just blows my mind that the amount of energy you have to do all this. You know, because how many years now have you been, you know, just going out and doing things?
I would have to say since school.
Wow. So we graduated what, in '83?
83.
So that's got to be. I'm trying to do the math here.
Yeah.
What is it? You know, almost what's past 30 years, right?
Yeah.
It's a long time. Yeah. And you've just been, wow. Do you collect your ticket stubs and all that? Do you have like a whole collection of things that you know, like memories of?
You know, the memories are both in the back of my head, Andrew, and all over the internet.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I mean, with the ticket stubs and the articles, it's just, you know, I like saving it all for the internet itself.
Okay. And do you also get autographs and things, or?
You know, the autographs are hard because it's like, you know, they're never guaranteed. You know,
That's true.
sometimes you know, you got your heart set on an autograph, and like whoever you're trying to get signed, you know, they'll find one excuse or another not to give it to you. Especially what we heard, you know, from Reggie Jackson.
Oh,
and
right.
I hate to say it, but Reggie Jackson's right.
Okay.
He's right.
Okay.
Because you get too many, you know, dicks trying to take advantage of the system.
Right, right. Well, that's true. It's, you know, no, go ahead.
And Reggie Jackson just, you know, he just wants to see friends that he hasn't seen every day.
Right.
Only once a year he sees them. It's like you can't sit down and have dinner with them.
Right, right.
Okay? I mean, you know, he spelled everything for everybody, no different than how, you know, you run your show.
Sure, sure.
Okay? And you know, they take advantage of the system. They start getting greedy.
Right.
You know, they're looking for, say, more than, we'll say 2 items per person.
Right, right.
Okay? And it's just, you know, a lot of these collectors that getting greedy, you know,
right.
They're screwing fans.
Now, I understand that. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I understand making a living, but there's
sure.
making a living and there's getting greedy.
Right. Well, that's true. You know, there's a difference.
I mean, you see what's going on with the Pope tickets.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, that's incredible. You know.
It's like very few are willing to take like maybe $20 for a ticket, which I can see.
Right, right.
But, you know, even $50 is a lot.
Well,
but you know, you start asking for $100 for a ticket, $200 for a ticket, $250.
Right, right.
And it gets to be disgusting.
Well, you know, people pay it though. That's what's crazy. You know, it's they call it the free market, but I don't understand because I remember back, you know, when in the '80s, you know, I mean, we both grew up then.
We both grew up during that time.
Yeah, and I would go to a concert at the Coliseum, and I still have ticket stubs. It's, you know, $15, $20.
Yeah.
You know, and that was, I thought that was a lot of money. You know.
Yeah.
And the scalpers back then, you know, maybe they got, you know, 30 or 40. And that was double, you know. And nowadays, you know, the face value.
Even 50 at the most.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, I understand inflation and all that, but, you know, when you go to, if you want to see a concert nowadays or a sporting event, I mean, it's incredible what they're charging, you know. And it's sad because the average person, you know, who works hard and wants to, you know, have some fun once in a while, you know, they can't afford to do it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, I'm glad to see that you're able to go out there and have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, nowadays, I mean, if you're spending $20, $25 on a show,
right,
even 50 at a show, they're crying how they're losing money.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me because, you know, but I don't know the economics of it. You know, I'm not in the business as far as, you know, concert, you know, like.
I'm not either. It's
you
just,
know, so I don't
you know,
understand
it's like experience over the years just like kicks in.
It just blows my mind because inflation hasn't gone that high as, you know, as fast as these ticket prices.
Yeah, and let's not forget the counterfeit tickets either.
Oh, well, there you go. That's right, on top of it. And you know, people fall for that stuff, you know, because they don't know if it's real or not. And then when they get to the place and they scan it, too late, you know. It's terrible. But, you know, so anyway, I wanted to know, what do you have in the future set up? I mean, is this what you want to just do this for forever as long as you live?
I'm going to try and keep doing this forever because I mean, it's either that or just crawl back into the hole and, you know, watch the time go by or watch the days go by.
Well, it's better than just sitting home and watching TV. That's for sure. You know? And I really, you know, I admire the fact that you're out there, you know, having fun. It doesn't matter what your age is, you know, you're out there, you're enjoying life, you know, and people actually care, you know, that you're there. I mean, so many reporters come up to you. Do they still do that, or are they?
It's not as much because, you know, a lot of them know who I am, and they know what I'm up to. And it's gotten to the point where, you know, a lot of them are laughing because I'm showing up just like you're laughing.
Well, it's just fun because, you know, you can almost count on you being there, you know, so it's like when there's a big event, you know, all you have to do is look for your face and it's almost guaranteed to be there, you know. Yeah. So that's kind of fun in a way, you know. It's like, where's Waldo, you know? Where's Greg in the crowd, you know? He's got to be there. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. But, you know, when you talk to the reporters, though, do you really say what's on your mind, or do you make things up, or do you, you know, What
Yeah,
are
well,
the things you tell them?
You know, a lot of times, yeah, I say what's on my mind. A lot of times, yeah,
Okay.
I'll say what's expected to say.
Okay. Okay. So you know, well, expected. So you kind of make sure that you say the things that they want to hear. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So that gives you a better chance of being on the air, I guess, right?
One is it's a better chance to be on the air, and two, you're also speaking the truth at the same time.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can see that. Now, it's funny though because you know I know going back to the AP thing that you said.
Yeah.
I just was wondering, are there any other organizations that you know have become aware of you and kind of like shy away from you now?
I think Newsday's done that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they're aware that you exist and you're always out there. So
They know too, especially here on Long Island.
well, that makes sense. Yeah, because you know you're a Long Islander, so obviously,
Yeah.
you know you get around here a lot. But but I just find it interesting because
But like
you
the
know,
best one that you know, as a Long Islander,
Yeah.
was being on the front cover of Newsday.
Oh, when was that?
This was going back, you know, to the '96 World Series.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, you know, it was just great being number one on Long Island.
Okay.
The guy in front of me was like overall number one, which is, you know, which he can have.
All right. Right.
But to be number one on Long Island for something in which, you know, people would do anything to be there at that time
Right. Right.
is just amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine because you know, it's funny because I spent my whole career, you know, making television behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and you're the guy out there really doing it, you know.
Yeah, I'm creating the scene.
Yeah, so you know that's what made it interesting. But you know that's why I love watching you. You know, on Facebook, a lot of people follow you.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, you're such an approachable guy. You know, so people
Yeah.
they love to actually, you know, follow what you're doing, and it's great that on Facebook you post pictures of what you're doing and
Yeah, I
and where
try
you're
to.
at. Yeah.
I try to just like a lot of times, and especially like I'm at like a lot of GA shows, a lot of GA rave events. It's
Right.
like, and just even on like a subway or a train, I don't want to have my phone in the wrong place at the wrong time, just in case somebody
sense.
knocks it over,
I got
either
you.
by accident
Right.
or by purpose. Because here in 2015, Andrew, we depend on our phones
Oh,
for
absolutely.
one reason or another.
Absolutely. You know, they're
And-
important.
And I'm not having a problem with my phone.
I hear that. No, that makes sense. You know, so if someone wanted to, friend you on Facebook and follow what you're doing, I
Yeah.
mean, how would they do that? What would they look for?
I'm under Greg Pack actually at Facebook.
Okay.
Because, I don't mind, people following me or friend, or friend requests. I got a big problem with Facebook playing God.
Okay.
I have a big problem with Facebook dictating what people are going to do and not do as they all hide behind their computers.
Right.
Right. And
No, I see that, but
Yeah.
but I was wondering because a lot of people aren't as lucky as you. Maybe they're too busy or they don't have the money to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they still would kind of like to follow what you're doing and kind of live along, just through your eyes and through your experiences.
Yeah.
Like kind of go along with it. So that's why I was saying it's like there are a lot of people who wish they could do what you're doing, and,
Yeah.
and they can kind of, be part of it just by following you on Facebook. you
Yeah.
know? So it's kind of nice to follow along, and see what you're doing next.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's a lot of people, enjoy just the pictures that you put up and the
Yeah.
experiences. So are there any places that you would never go to, like any venues, or is there a team that you really hate that you would never go to?
well, for starters, I wouldn't go into Mexico, Andrew. like I
Right,
was
you were saying
earlier,
that,
because
right.
I mean, who knows what can happen in Mexico?
Sure.
At least here in the U.S., there's an understanding.
Right.
That I'm out and about doing my thing. Mexico, any little thing you do is a crime.
Yeah, well, what's scaring me is it's almost starting to be like that here, because I'm looking on the news and the police, they're pepper spraying people who protest, or even.
Well, that sucks. I mean, I've been at Occupy Wall Street.
Right.
I don't blame any of them one bit for what they were doing.
Okay.
And I loved. I miss. I miss the camp. I've been to like 5 camps.
Okay.
With right here in New York being the best one.
Okay.
I mean, everything was like occupy this and occupy that and occupy that, which is great.
Well, it's nice that you're a part of that too. See, it's like you do so many different things.
Yeah, and it's like I've got a few, OWSers,
Sure.
With me at Facebook. I love reading their posts. I like to continue to learn from them.
Okay.
And I like to hear, what's going on with them still.
Sure.
And I keep reading but it's crazy. I keep reading the Daily News how this one's winning money, that one's winning money, and this one's winning money.
Right.
I mean, if you keep suing, there's a message behind it.
Well, that's true.
And winning too.
Oh yeah.
And they're winning.
Well, they are, but ultimately the taxpayers pay for that. Because it's not the. So,
in fact, there was one year a lot of them came up to the Apple store.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were protesting, the way Apple does business.
Right.
Which as well as raising money for the movement at the same time.
Sure.
So they figured to kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Wow.
Which is great. I don't blame them.
Right.
I was like one of the few people that welcomed Occupy Wall Streeters.
See that?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have too much time left in the show, but I just wanted to mention, I remember also, I wanted to talk quickly about, there was a, in that documentary I saw of you, you were in Times Square, and there was a guy predicting the end of the end of the world or whatever. Well, the world, he thought the world was going to end. Wow, and he had a lot of people believe in that, right?
Yes, he did.
Now, were you one of the believers, or were you just there to just be part of it?
What I read in the Bible.
Whatever happened, as one.
Okay.
And 2, if it really was the end of the world, at least I could say goodbye in my own way.
That's true. I mean, there was a lot of people that, you could share it with, right?
Yeah, it's very true. In fact, the guy that, got everybody to believe that the world was ending was a former MTA employee.
Okay.
He probably made his phone calls to his MTA friends and made sure, that his message was plastered all over the subways. I remember it.
So he spent a lot of money on that. He really believed it,
Yeah.
and
and he even checked his watch to see, when the end was coming.
I kind of, thought that was interesting, and you were right there, so again.
I was right there.
So it's kind of fun to again, every time there's an event, I could always look for you. So
at least when I showing up for that, and the underworld was there.
Right.
And we all said we would always be saying goodbye together.
Exactly. So that's nice. But okay, so the show's almost over. I just want to say, thanks so much for being here. And if do you have some kind of email or something that you can give out that if people are interested in contacting you? And
yes, it's Grego11743@hotmail.com.
Beautiful. So if if you're interested in what Greg's doing, or you want to just say hi to him, you can email him.
Absolutely.
And and every time there's a big event, make sure you look for Greg. He's going to be there. Yeah. Again, well, thanks a lot.
Andrew,
really appreciate it.
Okay.
And keep up what you're doing. I really, I mean, I love living, life, following what you're doing. It gives me pleasure just to see what you're doing. So.
It's a pleasure. I got you at Facebook.
Very good. All right then. Well, thanks for watching. This is Access Central TV, and please tune in again next week. Until then, have a good evening.